audio and visual podcast, a weekly discussion about all things guitar building and some random tangents as well, featuring members of the Guitar Builders Collective from all around the world. The Guitar Builders Collective is a like-minded group of individuals that have come together to share their experiences, knowledge, and inspiration for guitar building. Each week you can join us in the live YouTube chat or catch up at a later point. It's also available as audio, where you'll miss out on seeing our lovely faces and some of the visuals we share along the way. You can also find the Guitar Builders Collective via our forum, over on Instagram, where we share images of members' builds. We've got a thriving Facebook group, and we do hope that no matter what your experience and knowledge is, you'll become a welcome member of this community too. Great. Hello, people.
Hello there.
Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, we're coming at you from various countries around the world. So people watching on YouTube can see us and see who we are. But for anyone listening on the audio, I'll do a quick introduction. I'm in the UK. I'm Daniel. And also in the UK is Dave from Footstep Guitars down there.
In the middle.
And we've got Arran right below me over in Australia.
G'day, how are we going?
Hey, all good. And then on the other side, there's Mark and Scott, both in Texas. And joining us from the Ecuadorian rainforest is MenO.
Hello.
Brilliant. We were just talking off air about various things and partly about technology. Scott's got a 3D printer printing in the background, and MenO's heating his tea over firelights. It's like a totally weird mix of technology that's happening here today. I'm sure we're going to talk about that in a minute, MenO, because one thing that if you know MenO from his YouTube channel, and links for that are in the description, you'll know about his workshop and the space he works in. And 100% today, want to find out more about that, more about I titled today's episode "The Hazards of Working in the Ecuadorian Rainforest." You seem to have loads of things that are maybe everyday to you that to me seem totally alien and therefore affect the way you work. But also on hand, I'm sure we're going to talk about where your wood comes from and how you use it. If there's anyone watching in the live chat, please drop some questions in if you've got any for MenO. Or the rest of us. As always, it will probably go off in random tangents, etc. But I do want to ask first, MenO, because I know how long have you actually been in Ecuador? Because I know it was a more recent transition to living and working there. Is that right?
Well, this transition or this decision to come here was because my grandpa a long time ago, when I was still a teen, bought lands here, the farm where we are in right now. But this was like basically a forest, and he didn't do anything with it for the longest time. The idea he had was, I have a lot of lumber there. I can get teak, I can get mahogany, so I got money, almost like putting it on a savings account, forgetting about it. But my mom ended up with an empty nest. This is back in maybe early 2000s. We all left. She raised 5 boys, and we're all gone. And so she's like, I'm not gonna live in the city anymore. And my mom, she's an awesome lady, but she's crazy, and I mean that in the most loving way. So she literally came here into this place where there was nothing, just all the animals you can think of that want to kill you here and everything, and set up a tent, like camping. I said, okay, I'm here now. And then went into the local, like I was telling you, this is a native reservation. So went in there and be like, hey, does anybody here know how to work, how to work stuff, like how to use cement, how to use, oh yeah, this guy over here. Okay, come here. And she started building a house. And the whole time, my grandpa was like, my mom's name's Guiomar. So Guiomar, you're crazy. You're there by yourself. No, But she started building her home, and sure enough, like a few blocks at a time, few bags of cement at a time, build herself her castle. She's got a beautiful 3-story house that she built like brick by brick. But
incredible.
Grandpa decided, oh yeah, I could live over there. It's a different way of living, different speed, different philosophy. Um, and he ended up building a cabin for himself, and I would come visit, so my wife and I would come to, because all of a sudden it's like, oh, the novelty, oh, now they live by the rainforest. It's great, let's go visit. And we would come visit my mom and grandpa, and he started thinking, oh, how can I stay here? I don't want to go back to the city. I want to stay here. So he planted passion fruits and bananas, and try to make it into a business. But sadly, grandpa passed in 2015, and I think it was then when I decided that I was too far from my blood for too long. So I told my wife I wanted to come be here with my mom, and we started kind of working towards it. So few years later, then we I guess I was getting I had enough saved up. Well, I thought I had enough saved up. We sold the house, and they're like, okay, now we're on our way. So that's kind of how we ended up here. But I will tell you this: where I am right now, the farm, it's not such a farm anymore. Like my cousin lives over there, my uncles and my aunt live here. So like now it's like I jokingly call it a kibbutz. I call it jokingly, but it's my family. Like we're all here, So we work like a team. Somebody needs something, we all go help. Like yesterday, I was clearing the path to my shop because the normal road that I take has been destroyed by rains and muds. So, and it's my mom, my stepdad, and we're all like with machetes clearing trees, and like, the family just works like that. So, it's in a way, it's a simpler life, but it's tougher. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like I guess you can't tell because I'm still a big dude, but there's a lot of physicality into living in a place like this. But the family comes together to get stuff done. So even something that you like, oh, how are you gonna do that? You just but it's different when you got everybody chipping in and trying to make something happen. And now this place, everybody that walks in here goes like, oh my God, this place is so beautiful. It's like so. And my mom's vision, like most 90% is her vision, and her telling us, hey, this is what I want to do.
That's inspiring. Amazing that she started it because you'd all gone, and now you've all come back to where she set that
exactly. She set up a honey trap, right? It's like, what is this? And I'll tell you something else. My older brother, who still lives in Florida, he was coming here too. He had just gotten divorced. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. It's just a fact. So he was like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm done with the States. I'm going to go have a peaceful life. And there's a program that the government here has so that you can bring a container with your stuff and you don't pay any taxes. So if you were born here, which obviously we were. So he gets a container, I get a container, I pack it full of my tools, and I bought that 3D printer we were talking about too. I bought stuff. I was like, oh yeah, because I'm not gonna get it over there. There's nowhere to get it. So I packed it full of stuff. No furniture. Not even, I think, like a set of plates. That's it. It's just tools. Because my plan is like, I'm gonna build my shop. My brother does the same thing. He has a shop in his house too, in his garage. He had a 2-car garage full of stuff, CNCs, you name it. Pack another container. Containers come here. We go through the painful process of getting stuff out of customs because, this being a banana republic, and I mean that lovingly, it wasn't simple. And we were months, this paperwork, this signature, no, you got this wrong signature. Go get this, like that, for months. We got the containers out, hired trucks, brought it all to the farm. And then my brother gets to talking to this girl, and he's like, hey, this is girl that I've been talking to. She seems nice. And I'm like, are you going to go back to the States? Well, I'm going to go check it out. So now they have a house over there. He stayed, and I inherited all his tools. so I have a fully packed shop and he's like, man, I have to buy everything again. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's part of the price. Women ruin everything.
I got a Shapeoko CNC. I would have never bought that. I don't have the money for that, but my brother did.
So we'll get onto your brother and his making in a minute, I think, because I want to ask then. So you're obviously you're making guitars there, and we'll talk more about how that works soon. But your background then, you were already making instruments, making guitars before you moved here.
Yeah. This whole thing started because I came from the food industry. Like when I was a teenager, my first job was in restaurants. I think that's common, right? And then in my 20s, I was a manager for McDonald's. I think that's when I got my heft. When I started working for McDonald's. But when I was about 26, I was like, no, I had my gallbladder removed also thanks to McDonald's. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to change careers. So I walked into a Sam Ash music store, and the guy there is like, hey, you guys hiring? He's like, do you have an experience selling instruments? And I'm like, no, but I'm good at customer service, and I play bass. He's like, no, but it's not the same, blah blah blah. But that day I kind of got I don't know what happened. I got possessed by the obsession of changing my career, and I went in there and sold the bass. Not working there, I just went in there. There was a guy there, and it's like, dude, this is the bass you gotta get, and I sold it. And so the manager of the Sam Ash in Dolphin Mall doesn't exist anymore, guys. Sam Ash went belly up. Came up to me and said, hey, did you sell that Epiphone bass? I said, yeah, it's a good bass. So he hired me on the spot, and I ended up being a manager for Sam Ash, and then I got recruited by Guitar Center. And when I had those jobs, and I ended up doing a lot of fixing that's kind of how it started. It was like, this guitar would come in and it had some issues, or a customer would complain. I was like, dude, I can figure it out. Okay, let me see what I can do, and fixing stuff myself. And then I got the bug, as you guys know. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I just changed this pickup, and now this guitar sounds better so I got the bug, and I was performing with my brother at the time. I had an original band, my original songs. And I said to my brother, this is when we really got into it. I said to my brother, hey, listen, I don't want to use anybody's instruments. I want to have instruments so people identify us also with instruments that are not common. So we did the Partcaster thing, right? So I think it was at the time Mighty Might. I don't think it was Warmouth. That Warmouth was too rich for us. But we got some stuff together, painted them, did a terrible job, and that's what we performed with. But at that time I was hooked. I said, okay, now I'm buying a router, now I'm buying chisels, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm buying. That's kind of how it started. And then when I left Guitar Center, which was in 2014, 2015, right around when my grandpa passed away. He kind of wanted me to do something for myself. He wanted me to not work for somebody. He's like, you gotta do your thing. Don't follow anybody's dream. That was his thing. And so I went on my own. I started a company called 360 Music and MenO Productions, and I was doing sales also. But I had dealerships of stuff, because I was good at sales, and I started building guitars too and selling my guitars. So it's kind of like, okay, now I don't have access to really high end instruments, but maybe I can make some, and and that's kind of how it started. And when I moved here, I was like, okay, now it's serious. Like before, it was like, yeah, if I can build 4 or 5 guitars a year, that's cool. But now I want to see if I can get up to 20. I don't know if I can, but now it's serious. I'm pushing it as hard as I can.
Amazing. So those first guitars you were building, like when you were first building your own ones, not just the bits you're buying in, what sort of guitars were they? Were they your own design shapes, or were they standard shapes that you might recognize?
Well, the first one's Strats, because you have all the info you can possibly need online. So I'm like, okay, the pocket depth, the nut width, all that stuff is online. So trying to design something, if you never build, I think if I had to get somebody advice if you're going to get into guitar building, first build the classics so you understand why things are, and then get crazy. But if you don't build the things that already exist, you're going to end up making a lot of wood for your fire camp, because it's just, oh, that's why that's why you don't do that. So the very first guitars were Strat copies, and I think we tried to build an SG, and that failed, and it's sitting and somewhere. I don't even know where it is, because set necks were harder. But then I quickly, and I say quickly, maybe within a year, I wanted to do my own designs, because maybe this is a defect I have in my brain, but when I performed live, I didn't want to play anybody's songs. I wanted to play my songs, And of course, if I did a cover, it would have to be my version of the cover. So when I started making guitars, I was like, okay, I like this. I love this. This makes me happy. I don't want to make your guitar. I think your guitar is great, but that's you. What about, like my wife says jokingly, what about my knee? So I started to, okay, let me do these. And I have a great ally in my wife, because she's an artist. She paints, she draws, she's amazing. We were doing shows together when I performed live. I would sing and play, and she would paint next to me, and then we would raffle off the painting.
Amazing. That's
All
cool.
right.
And it was awesome. It was awesome. I want to start doing that again. I mean, here I'm gonna do it again in the rainforest. But when I draw a shape of a guitar, my wife comes into the picture, and my wife is Russian, right? So she's got the Russian, I guess you call it she calls it Russian standard. Like, things got to be amazing, or don't make them. You know what I mean? It's got to be great, or don't do it. So she'll come in and be like, no, let's do this, and then she'll get involved, start changing my curves, do this, do that, and then 99% of the time I'm like, boom, you made it better. This is great. Yeah. So in that sense, I have a trick up my sleeve. No, she's behind the scenes. Nobody knows that. If I make a really beautiful guitar, there's 100% chance that she was involved.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So look, you talked about shipping your equipment over there and your brothers, because you were worried that you wouldn't be able to access or get hold of those things once you were there.
Oh, yeah.
How do you get hold of the things you do need? Like, if you hardware for the guitars, parts you might need in the woods and all of that.
Well, that's kind of why I'm making it myself, because I can't. And if you look at my last builds, I'm making my tailpieces, my bridges, and it's because I don't. That doesn't really bum me out. It doesn't make me go like, I can't use Goto, so therefore my guitar is gonna suck. See, you can see that's a bridge I'm making, and the thing is, here we have amazing lumber. I mean, we should, right? It's a rainforest. We have amazing lumber. So that I didn't paint that. That's a color. That's a color. It's a wood called they call it amarillo, which translation would be yellow, but it's super hard. Maybe like a rosewood hard. Machine's awesome, and they used to make tail pieces and bridges out of rosewood. So I was like, I can do it out of this stuff, and it worked out great.
Yeah, just in case someone's listening on the audio, I'm sharing, and the links are in the description, sharing some of MenO's Instagram images of the work he's been building.
That looks awesome.
So the wood's available, but is it you're literally getting the wood yourself, going out and cutting it down? We had Eddie on a few weeks ago who does that in Devon. So you're cutting your own wood. Amazing.
I have to. I mean, there's no Home Depot over here. There's now. Remember, I said when we were first talking about this that my grandpa had here in the forest. He had mahogany, he had teak, he had cedar, and he had a bunch of other stuff. And they're just here. And trees, they need to be trimmed. They also can get old or sick and die. So when that happens, yeah, it's sad, but it's also exciting. I'm like, oh, that cedar tree, it's dying. It needs to be cut. All right. So I get on my chainsaw and go to town. And there's some videos of that I posted where you can see. Yeah, look, that one is also like the tailpiece is wood, and the bridge is also wood. The pickup is wood. You can't even get plastic over here. So like I'm trying to do what I can. Now, obviously, the jack I bought, but I've made jacks too. Um, every time I go to the States, I say to myself, okay, what do I have to buy because I won't be able to get there. So I usually get tuning pegs because I'm not there yet. I would love to say, oh yeah, I make my own tuning pegs, but I don't. I buy them. And I get magnets because I can't get those here to make my own pickups. But I make my own pickups. I don't buy them because I can't buy them here. There's nowhere to buy pickups. I bring a fret wire also from the States because that doesn't exist here. Even though I considered what can I use? Can I use maybe nails? I was like, God, I'm going to give myself so much work. No. I want something that is fixable, that a luthier in the future can be like, oh, no, let me refret that for you. He's not going to be like, what? This guy, he took apart a freaking house to make a neck. So yeah, I'm trying to not be too crazy about it, but I'm just kind of sticking to the most essential things. The frets, the magnets that I need because I can't get those, and tuners. Obviously electronics, pots, and I can get about an hour and a half away. There's a main city where there's an electronics parts store, but not for guitars, just for repairing TVs and what have you. And I've been able to buy caps and resistors and that kind of stuff. But I you're not gonna find pots. They don't exist here. Why would they? So I bring those too.
MenO, is it mostly semi-acoustic guitars or straight electric solid bodies, or combination of both? Just from those images there, it seems to be a bit of a combination.
Yeah, a combination. It's like I have a selling technique. I don't know if you call it a selling technique. Maybe you guys will tell me that I'm crazy, but I usually go to a musician that I like and be like, hey, I'm making a guitar for you. I'm thinking about you and I'm making this guitar. And when I make that decision to do that to somebody, I'm already deciding, am I going to make it acoustic? I'm going to make it electric. I'm going to make it. So like this one, the last one that I'm building is for this really awesome artist in Florida. Her name is Carla. And she's like a singer-songwriter type, but she's tiny. Like she's probably maybe 5'1". She's tiny. And just small hands, everything. And she's awesome singer. She's a vocal teacher as well. So we've been friends for a long time. She was my client when I was working for Guitar Center. And the other day she said, not the other day, more like 6 months ago, she's like, oh man, I love the work you do. So I just, okay, you open the door. So I'm like, hey, listen, I'm making a guitar for you right now. She's like, what? But I'm really putting my heart and soul into it. So like I'm thinking of her. I drew this this tree on it. I'm calling it the Narnia tree, and I'm trying to be inspired by what's around me because I have you might hear some doggies on this chat because they're around me, and there's a little tiny one right here next to me, and she's like this size. She's sleeping. Maybe I'll show her later. Yeah. But she hates squirrels, and there's a squirrel living close to my shop. And on the tree that's right in front of my shop, that she's always trying to kill. And the other day, the squirrel was just chilling there, looking cute. And I'm like, I'm gonna draw the squirrel on the guitar that I'm making for Carla. Why? Because it's what's around me. I'm feeling it right now. So I started drawing the squirrel, and I sent her pictures, and she's like, oh my God, that's so awesome. And she gets excited. I get excited, get more motivated to finish the build. And yeah, so hopefully within 2 or 3 weeks, because I'm already spraying, it'll be done, and it'll happen. But that's kind of how I do it. I have I don't know what you would call it. Is it a hard sell? I don't know if it's a hard sell. It's a heartfelt sell.
Heartfelt sell. Yeah. Well, if it works.
Hey.
It sounds like that enthusiasm that you've got really comes through to the, the client or the person that you're building the guitar for as well. And I can kind of see how the musicians would be thrilled to see your excitement in what you're doing.
Well, I think I learned that working in Sam Ash. I had a friend. I've talked about him before. I made a video, but I haven't done it in English. I should. I have a channel in Spanish and channel in English, and well, not channel, Instagram account in Spanish, one in English. But I had a friend. His name is Josian, awesome guitar player, and he worked in Sam Ash for like 14 years, some crazy amount like that, and he did good for himself because he was always in the top of sales, and the sales ranking. He's always in the top. And I started to study the guy. I'm like, how come that? Because one thing is to sell like a $200 guitar, right? That you can do. Possibly somebody comes in, it's like, hey, my kid wants to learn guitar. I got this $200. But no one wants to sell those 10 grand, those 12 grand guitars. Those, like, how do you sell those, right? So I started to study the guy. I'm not saying my guitars are worth that much, by the way. I wish.
One day.
No, but my friend Josian, he had this thing, he would people would come in. It was almost I joke with him and I would tell him, you're like a truffle pig, man. Like you smell it. I would come in, right? They would come in and they were looking at guitars, kind of like, let me try that one, let me try that one. And he could sense that the guy was looking for something special. He could sense it. Like that's why I call him the truffle pig. And he would tell him, hey, listen, I have something in the back. Okay, I have something in the back. I haven't pulled it out because it's too special, and I don't want people, just touching it and playing it. No, but it's in the back. All right, and he did because when he would find special instruments, it didn't have to be 10 grand. It could be 2 grand, 3 grand. But sometimes you grab a guitar, and I'm sure all of you guys play. I know you guys play. So there's times where you grab an instrument and you just strum a chord. And you go like, what that? Because you don't know, you played that model before, you played that, but that one just goes like, okay. When he would find those, he would have them in the back, and he would bring it out, and it was like ceremony, right? But he's being sincere. That's how he made the sale. If you're not sincere about this, people can smell your dishonesty and they walk away. But he would put the guitar on the counter, then he would open it, but slowly, one latch at a time. Right. Open the thing, almost like the music. You can hear, you're right. And then he would take 2 steps back, put his hand right here, and look at the guitar. The client, right? The guy, the potential buyer, he was like a junkie, having some withdrawal. He's like, what? Get that blip. Wait. He would tune it, and he would play it, and when he would play, because he also was a really good player, he played it with such a conviction, so excited about the guitar that he would get the sale. And then I was like, Josian, did you just sell that $4,000 guitar to the guy? Yeah. How did you do that? Oh man. That guitar is special. He would always tell me that guitar is special.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of try to get that into what I'm doing. I'm like, I want to, I'm sure you guys do too. Like, it's got to be special. Like, if I don't feel like that, if I don't feel like, hey, you know what? I'm giving you something. It's not just an instrument. It's something. Then I don't want to give it to you.
Yeah. The builds that have meant probably the most to me, especially while I'm doing it, have been those that I knew exactly where they were going afterwards, and I knew who they were for, and yeah,
you get 100%. Mm-hmm. Like you feel a connection to it. It's kind of like, it's almost like it's gonna sound weird, but it's almost like you're giving away your child, right? It's mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got to go to a good home. It's like, yeah, well, I love this thing. Here, love it too.
Before we went live, talking about my channel, that little guitar I made, I don't know, 6-7 years ago at least, that was for my son.
Yeah, I remember that video. I that's why I brought it up. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Yeah. I could see the love you put into it. That's why I started to follow you. It's like, oh yeah, this is a good guy, I'm not saying it's possible to have that level of intent into every build, because sometimes you got to build a guitar for a guy you don't like too much, I guess. But it would be better.
I'd have a hard time with that. I really
Yeah,
would.
no, I hear you. I have friends that I love dearly, love them because they're awesome people. But as guitarists, as players, they're so picky that when they call me and they're like, "Hey, Andres, like I have a friend. I'm not gonna say his name. He's like, hey, I need a new neck pickup, man. The one that I have is just not cutting it." And he's like, "Have you heard?" And he'll give me some obscure name you never heard of. The Mastroni Baracatali, but some stuff you never heard of, right? He's like, "That's the sound I want." And I'm like, okay. But he's my friend and I need business. I'm like, "Yeah, all right, I'll make you a pickup." So but it's harder to put that much of myself when it's a situation like that.
We've never really talked about what happens when you start working, making guitar for someone, you realize it was the wrong choice to make for them, or right at the beginning, like, are there clients we won't work with, people we won't work with? But I think that's a good thing to know, to learn that.
Oh yeah, I try to study the person, so it's almost like casing somebody, recently I've been doing some repairs locally. There's a town like about 15 minutes away, and there's a few modern day hippies over there, and I say that lovingly, but they're kind of backpack all around South America, and some are really good musicians. And there's a guy there, for example, that I've been following for a few weeks now, who's locally now here, who plays a Strat. And so I've been watching videos of the guy, his style. He does a lot of things with the volume swelling with the pinky, like Jeff Beck kind of stuff, and always plays in the fourth position, and he tends to be very funky. So like I look at the guy, and yesterday I went to go see his band live, and we're having a conversation, and I have a good idea of what I would try to make him now, because I'm not saying that I've done it. I haven't done a hard sale on the guy. Maybe I will. But I'm like, okay, if I had to make you something, okay, it would have to obviously be inspired on a Stratocaster. The volume knob, I would move it just a tiny bit for you, because I can tell that you have big hands, so it might be more comfortable. But it's gotta have that in between pickup sound. So definitely, so I'm already making in 21 frets, because that's what you like. That's the funk, and chunky neck. So I'm casing the guy. So if I were to build it for him, obviously don't have 100% of the picture, but I have a solid starting point. And then if I start making it, right, if I start making the shape, and I start and let's say me and him decide, I decide I'm gonna go and be like, hey, for the sake of conversation, say his name is Chris. His name is not Chris, but it doesn't matter. I'll be like, hey Chris, look, check this out. Look what I'm making. And he's like, what is that? I was like, dude, I just started making this the other day. I saw you play. It was you sounded great, man, and I felt inspired, so I'm making this. That's like a probe. You know what I mean? It's like if he tells me, dude, can I come see it? Then I know I'm onto something. But if he says, cool, dude, I'm like, all right. Doesn't mean I won't finish it, but it's not for him. I'm early enough in the build that I can go somewhere else. But that's kind of what I've been doing. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does. It's such an interesting way of thinking about not just trying to sell, but trying to build. So that idea that I know what this player needs, that's how I'm going to build it. Even if it's not for that person, even if they haven't asked you to do it, it makes it makes all the decisions you're making for the layout have a reason for being where they are, not just today I'll do this here and next time I'll do that there and things like that.
Yeah, this is gonna sound like a weird story, but I think it's relevant to the conversation. But I don't know if you guys know a little bit about working boots. I don't know if you guys ever had jobs where you had to use this, like steel toe boots. And so one of the jobs I had also was I was building kitchen cabinets and installing them. And so we go into construction sites, and I had my steel toe boots. And if you buy cheap ones, they're horrible. They hurt. There's the worst. So you have to buy expensive ones. But then when you first put the expensive ones on, they still hurt. And then, 6 months into them, they're the most comfortable thing. But you got to break them in. And it comes to the point, I'm going somewhere. It comes to a point where they get too old, you repair them because that feels good. So you're like, yeah, I'm not buying new ones. I don't want to go through that. You repair them. So I think musicians tend to be kind of like that. They're like, the guy's been playing, I'm going to come up with another one. The guy's been playing SGs his whole life. And SG, that's what he likes, SG. And if you grab that guy and you give him the best Stratocaster you can build, and I'm using simple examples to make my point, he's going to hate it. And it has nothing to do with the guitar that you made. It's just that's not the boots he likes. He puts them on, they hurt. So I think I kind of see it like that. I'm like, okay, there's a particular style. There's something that he grew up playing. Like my brother is a huge Stratocaster guy. That's what he started with. And even though he has excellent guitars of other brands, he bought himself a Majesty, which is like the John Petrucci model. I'm sure you guys know it. And so it's a really high-end guitar, like $3,000, something that I can't justify buying for myself. He bought it. And he takes out his Stratocaster when he goes to gigs. So I'm like, yeah. So if I was to build a guitar for my brother, it would have to be Strat inspired because that's his old boot. So that's the way I see it.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day because I watched a video with Kyla Kent, who does basically, she plays very heavy metal stuff, a lot of Pantera things, and she loves Kramer guitars. And she has a particular Kramer guitar she uses a lot of, which is a particular design they don't make anymore that had a Floyd Rose in it and a bolt-on neck and various other things. Okay. And she was talking about the fact that she has people approach her to sponsor on YouTube who want her to play exclusively their instruments. She's like, no, I want to play this instrument. And then Kramer came to her and said, we'd love you to play some Kramer guitars. She said, I'll definitely do it if you can make me a copy of this because I'm worried it's going to break one day. And this is the one I need,
Yeah.
And they looked into it and they said, oh, we can't make that. We can't get this body and that neck and strap it together. It's not going to work. So didn't happen. But then on the Kramer forums, people got together and they built her a guitar that matches the one she's currently got for the setup style, because like you're saying, that's the thing that she's worn into and that's what she needs. And I guess obviously I'm aware of people like the Hitmaker guitar that Niles Rogers plays. That's his guitar for his whole life.
Yeah,
I'm just so used to people saying, oh, I'm a Strat guy, and then playing Strats or moving around different guitars. But having that one guitar that you sink into isn't a thing that I think about that often.
Something I should add to this, because I think for us, you guys and me, it's important to know the guy that has like a Mexican Strat that he bought like 12 years ago, 15 years ago, and he's fine with it. He's not our customer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The guy that will want a bespoke guitar, something. It's a guy who is in the eternal quest of the instrument. You know what I mean? It's because you never get there. Doesn't matter. But it's the one of my most is actually a really good friend of mine too, but he owns 7 of my guitars. He has been looking for the guitar for a really long time. And the way that it happens with him is like he gets on these tone seeking journeys, right? He was like, hey dude, the other day I tested out this pedal. It's called the Creme Brulee. Have you heard of it? No. But you know about the Clone Centaur. Yeah, of course. Okay, it's a copy. It's like, okay. Yeah, I bought 3 of them to see which one sounds better. Come over. We can test them out together. That guy's your client, because he's looking for the magic, and the way I see it with my guitar, I'm trying to be that magic. I'm trying to be, hey, you know how you're looking for the holy grail, the thing that you can say, hey, this is my guitar. I'm thinking about you, and I'm making you that guitar, the one that you want to say, this is my guitar. because that's my approach in guitar building. If you were not to say anything bad about people that make Strat clones or Tele clones or anything, like some guys are better builders than me making those, but that's a different client. That's a guy that he's like, hey, yeah, can you make me a Tom Anderson something copy? And I'm like, oh, sure. And then you make it, and then okay, I didn't have $4,000 for the Tom Anderson, but I got this dude to make it for me for half the price. So that's great. Not for me, because I feel that I don't have enough passion to be so robotic about this, to go through the process of building something all the way through at the quality that I want to build it. If I'm not looking to make you that guitar, the one that's like, I have a piece.
You want to make them the last guitar they're ever going to buy.
Yeah.
No, maybe not, but maybe not the last one, but because he wants that one and another one built by me maybe later on. but the best compliment somebody can give me, I recently had a friend from a childhood friend, really. There's the one with you showed the picture a little bit ago, Daniel, with has the tailpiece made out of wood and a jazz style kind of bridge. That one, a friend of mine from when I was a kid. Yeah, it's somewhere down there. It's the one that I'm making is basically based on that first one, but a guy, my friend, contacts me and he's like, that one, that's in the center right there. He goes like, hey, yeah, I'm like playing on that video, and my friend goes like, hey, listen, what is that? And so I'm like, oh, I built this guitar. I was thinking of somebody when I built it. I did, but the person, like we were talking about earlier, I did the probe. And they told me, hey, I'm moving to New York and blah blah, and I'm gonna start. Okay, all right, cool, all right, no problem. It's no problem at all. But I finished the guitar because and I changed a couple of things I was gonna do about it. This friend of mine contacts me and he says, hey, listen, is that guitar sold? I want to test it out. And I'm like, oh, sure, I'll come. I'm gonna be in Guayaquil next week. Maybe I'll come over. Maybe I'll come see you in your studio. And because again, we've known each other since we were 5. Haven't seen him in 20 years, but I go to the studio. Obviously, I set up the guitar the best I can. We're sharing. He shows me some of the music he's working on. We plug the guitar. He strums it, and he's like, "Man, I love this. Like, I can tell you put your heart and soul into it." He paid me right there, cash on the spot. Which almost never happens here. People here want to do payments, and then he made a video about it, and because of him, people have written to me and being like, hey, man, I saw the thing you built for Carlos. That's the biggest compliment, because I'm not asking him, hey, listen, can you help me get more clients? And it's just a guy has a studio. He loves this thing. It's become his guitar, the one he's writing songs on. He's posting videos. So it's like, yeah, I wrote a new song. And people are coming to the studio, are seeing, hey, what is this thing you keep on playing? What is it? It became their guitar, the one we're talking about. And those people are now contacting me. So maybe I can develop another relationship with somebody else and then build something special for somebody else. So, but I want it to be more like that, more than me buying ads or me coming up with a catalog or any of that stuff. It doesn't feel honest. I don't know if that makes any sense. It makes sense to me.
It makes a lot of sense. It's really targeted building, isn't it? So do you build any guitars that aren't assigned to somebody, or all your guitars sort of you've made your mind up, you're going to build it for that person?
I always build thinking of somebody. It doesn't mean that person is going to agree. But in stock right now, that not sold, I have 3. The one that has that wooden bridge that we saw earlier, that one is in my shop right now. I love that guitar. I was building it thinking of a musician that I really look up to, a friend. His name is Camilo, but I haven't had a chance to talk to him about it. He's on tour all the time, and so I was thinking of it because I mean I remember him wanting something that's light, so hollow body and all stuff. I remember conversations we had for years, and I finished the build. Haven't spoken to him, but I love the guitar, and I think if I put enough love into it, one day the right person will come around. But I'm not disappointed because I tried new things. That bridge. You guys are gonna laugh a little bit, but I was trying to find out how I can do the ground on that guitar. Obviously, a bridge made out of wood, right? It's kind of funny, and also secure it because I didn't want to be free floating. So what I ended up doing is I got some rods they use for welding that they do have here locally. You know, the autogenous is how you say it? It's the one that you weld with the torch. They're
Yeah,
brass.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I cut those, drilled the hole perfect size for it, put the wire in there, hammer it in, and round it off the top, and that's what's holding the bridge, and that's where I'm getting a ground, and then I feed that up. So doing that kind of stuff is fun. So I learn new things, right?
So
challenging myself.
I'm fascinated. The guitars that you made there, I mean, are you using an acoustic style build to make those? Because it's sort of something I'm really interested in. I mean, or that hollow body you were playing there in the forest there, is that actually an acoustic style? In other words, you've bent the ribs and all that sort of stuff, or is it you've hollowed out the wood?
I hollowed that one. I hollowed out. I haven't done rim bending, Dave, and I saw your video about it, and so I think I'm building some courage to try it because I have to obviously do the tooling, and your videos are such a help there because you have so many videos of the tooling required, so I can do steam bending, but I want to because the way that I'm building is very wasteful. Obviously, I have more wood than I could possibly use the rest of my life, but it doesn't mean that I should be wasting it. I took down a tree. I want to say it's maybe a cedar tree that is probably like 5-6 stories high, and that wide. So I have so much of that cedar that I've been building. I build that body out of that cedar, but I don't want to be wasteful. So I need to get into bending, and also I think you would know this more than me, obviously, but I think if you do bending, it's also easier to sand and do the finishing later because you're not going to get so much end grain. When you do the hollow out, which is what I did, it's like there's parts where it's like, oh my god, so much end grain, and I'm there, getting psychotic with the CA glue trying to make the end grain behave. So yeah, so I need to do it, and I am going to do it. And again, thank you for making those videos because I've been I'm your student at this point, and
I'm not sure I'm the one to follow, but I mean I do enjoy doing it now. I mean once you get the bug for doing it in that way, and and I do it to save wood partly because you're right, you don't need to use so much, but it's a good experience.
Yeah, I love the guitar that you built with your wife drew like a phoenix looking bird on it. You just did. I saw the series, and then I saw that you released a video of like the full build recently. I love that stuff, and I love the fact that you are crazy, man. I love that. Same reason why I like Mark, because I'm like, hey, you could be building Strats and Les Pauls and all stuff, and that's great. But when you get crazy, that's awesome. Like the pickups moving inside, I'm like, man, that's genius. I need to do something like that. How do I? So I'm already trying to come up with a floating pickup.
Mm.
Yeah.
I remember Mark. Yeah, I remember Mark had a guitar build that I have it saved. I have it saved somewhere because it's I don't remember the name of this build, but Mark, you'll tell me. It's the frets are curved like that. It's this crazy shape, gigantic thing. It looks like a Halo weapon. I don't know if you guys ever played that video game. It looks like the Halo weapon. I love that thing. I was like, man, that is so freaking cool looking. Like, and I I can see some guy having that guitar as the guitar. This is my guitar. This is one, like, when I go and say this is like, so he goes on stage as part of the look, you know. It sounds great too, but I love that you went psychotic. It's like just crazy with the experiments. Like, I've never seen that before. Bent curved frets. What is that? Like, did you did you have an ayahuasca trip and there's like, oh, I'm just gonna bend the frets like that? I have no idea. I love it. And so that I think on bespoke instruments, not to say that my opinion matters, but I think pushing the envelope, kind of like, hey, you know, let me be a little more crazy, makes the most sense. Because you and I are not going to beat Fender on making Fenders. We're not going to beat Gibson on making Les Pauls. Maybe we could, but would we want to? You know? But nobody.
We've talked a lot in the past about how guitar people are goofy and stick with something, you know, exclusively. I hadn't thought about the fact that because so many guitarists don't really know much about their instrument, that maybe, you know, they're sticking with a company that that they trust. Maybe.
Yeah,
I can see the hang up of buying a bespoke instrument, you know, because you don't know this guy, you don't know if he's going to be around, you know, whatever. I hadn't really thought about that before, but that might, you know, play some into that.
I think if somebody has ever voiced something like that to me, like, I'm not saying you guys should do this, but what I've told people that bought guitars from me is like, I give you what no other company can give you, which is, if you buy a guitar from me, you also buy a relationship. Meaning, I'm behind that guitar. Something happens to it, if I have to remake you a neck because I did something wrong in the, you know, drawing of the wood, I'll do it, because it's almost like my honor, you know, as an artist. And there's no company out there that is going to tell you, hey, listen, now you and I have a relationship. We have a child in common, you know? Kind of like,
Yeah,
we got
because that guitar is yours now, but it will always be mine.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm to the point, like, if you have it laying around all beat up and you don't give it back, man.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
The last one I made was for a friend, his son, and he'd only had it for like 2 months, and I see a video that he's taking the bridge apart. He's taking all the saddles off and all this to clean it, and I'm like, what the hell is this kid doing? But I texted his dad and I was like, you know, he's got to get those saddles back in the right order. He's going to have to, you know, set them all up again. I mean, you know, I can come do it. I can help this get put back the way it needs to be, because, I mean, the things he was doing, I'm like, you're going to mess with setup there, kid. And we need this
learn on a Squire.
In tip-top shape.
Learn to do that on a Squire. Don't touch mine.
Yeah, I mean, it's your guitar, kid, but hold on, this is still mine.
Yeah. There's a luthier. I'm trying to remember his name right now. Galasso. You guys can, if you get curious, you can look him up. He's out of Argentina. Crazy dude. Love the guy. He just made a guitar of aluminum, but like fully aluminum, but not like high-end machining. Not like rasps. You know, aluminum, the whole thing. Crazy dude. Does some really awesome stuff. And he has a lifetime warranty on all his instruments, as long as he is the only one that does any kind of repair, you know, or exchange pickups and whatnot. So he's like, if it's just me, lifetime warranty. As long as I'm alive, I got you. And I'm like, now that, in my opinion, transmits a very important thing about a bespoke guitar, which is a bespoke guitar builder, the confidence you have in your craft. Yeah, because if I tell you, hey, listen, like, as long as I'm alive, I fully back up this thing that I built, because I put all I knew into it. The guy who's might be hesitating, me like, I don't know if I should buy this, just to do it. He's like, oh, nobody's gonna say that to me. No, nobody. I'm gonna go to Guitar Center, buy myself a LTD or an ESP, and 2 years later, I'll walk back in, so pickup's not working. They're gonna tell me, oh, so what? Go talk to them, not us. No, nobody's gonna be, yeah, dude, I got you. So I think that's a that's a not a weakness that we have, but the opposite. It's a strength. It's just that we tend to be, and I say we because I include myself. We tend to be like, could it be that they're gonna see me in, like somebody who's worth investing on? Because you're investing in me, not just the guitar. You're investing in me, in my promise, right? And in my opinion, that's the guy. Now,
Amazing.
amazing builder. He makes bridges out of brass too, like all by hand. Dude is he obviously likes those old school cars. I met him in person. Crazy dude. That's the guy right there. Crazy dude. But his guitars, when I met him at NAMM back in 2014. And he was selling the skateboard guitars, and he was downstairs, because the main floor in NAMM, I don't know if you guys ever been, but the big brands are on the first floor, and then in the basement where almost nobody chills, all the little ones go. But that's the place I like to go because I like to see the little builders, and he was there, and I was really blown away. There's a skateboard guitar there. I was really blown away by his passion for what he does. If anything, I think I'm stealing a lot of his energy, because I when I was talking to him about his guitars, I wasn't building at the time, and he was, with such emotion talking to me about what he's doing, and my little brother, who was a guitar player, a very recognized and respected guitar player here in Ecuador, was with me, and he started talking to the luthier about some ideas that he had, and the guy's listening as if some sort of master, is teaching him, giving him pearls of wisdom. The luthier is listening to my younger brother, like, okay, all right, oh, that's great, yeah. But it's not an act. He's getting excited about my little brother's idea of a guitar, and I'm sure getting inspired. And then maybe he went and built something, thinking of what my little brother has the idea with a bunch of switches and like tone controls and stuff, like too much for me. But that's what he wanted, and he's listening with excitement. So I don't know. I mean, it's in my opinion. We tend to think that we have to compete with the big brands, and we don't. It's a different game. They're playing, I don't know, American football, and we're over here just, we don't have to play the same game. It's not the same client either. That's why I don't worry about that stuff. Like and I'll tell you something else. This is gonna sound weird or detrimental to myself, but I've even rejected work if somebody wants me to make a straight out copy of something. But I've done it lovingly. You know what I mean? It's not like somebody tells me, "Hey, can you make me a 59 Les Paul?" No, get the hell out of here. No, of course not. I'll do it lovingly. Be like, oh, you know what? There's a place in Florida that has one. You should look into it. And it's true. I know the place. It's called, Guitar Music Exchange. They have one. The guy, the name of the owner is Gary. Call him up, man. It's a great guitar. And so this dude telling me this is what? He doesn't want to build me. I don't, but I don't have to be a jerk about it. It's just, but I think it also kind of gives him the impression, the potential client, the guy that can buy from you, that now I'm going to sound a little insulting, but I think it's warranted that I'm not a hooker. It's like, oh, you got the money, I'll do whatever you want. No, it's not how it works. Like, it sounds horrible, but I mean it. It's because I think a lot of us, and I include myself, sometimes, especially because we have bills, we're like, oh, this guy wants to, it's not my thing. I don't feel, but I'm going to go ahead and take it. And then we end up being miserable. It's been my case.
You've summed up my last year of building for other people. You've got to, I think that's what I was alluding to earlier. When a client comes to you, how do you know when to say no? And I think what I've learned is if their vision for a guitar isn't the sort of guitar that I want to play, then I probably shouldn't be making it, is what I feel. Or maybe it's not one I want to play, but if it's got something about it, the looks or the material it's made from that appeals to me. But when it is literally, can you make this? It's going to be a challenge, but it's not a challenge I'm interested in. I shouldn't take it on because every time I'm in my studio, I'm like, why did I do this? I could be doing these things that are in my head, but I'm doing this instead.
There's got to be something about it that you're excited about, even if it's the client. There's got to be something.
Exactly, because I mean, there's a lot of things about guitar building that are not enjoyable. I don't care what anybody says. Sanding is not enjoyable. Who likes sanding?
I'll tell you what. Just to blow everyone out of the water here, 2 days ago I thought I was enjoying sanding because I've got 4 or 5 guitars that need buffing, so wet sanding first. And I was trying out different methods on all of them. I was experimenting because I thought what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the method I'm always going to use going forward that is the best method. And I thought I'd found it, and then I sanded too far through the finish, and I was like, oh, I hate it. For a minute, I was like, this is it. I've succeeded. It's going to, like Mark says, you want to like finesse what you're doing so you're not wasting time doing the things that aren't needed. You can get rid of certain steps. And I thought I'd found a way to do it. But I'm not going to give up on it. I'm still going to keep trying this way.
I don't know how many times I've sand through in the corners, you know, when you're like, okay, no, not lightly. It was just this finger,
That is exactly what happens. But I was using new sanding materials that I thought would be a better way of doing it. Look, MenO, we've talked for over an hour. There's been a question waiting in the chat for ages, and we haven't even talked really about what it's like making guitars where you are. And Jackson asked ages ago, let's see if I can find the question to put on the screen. He asked, does the humidity affect the way you're making? Does it cause you issues in your build? Because it must be a hard climate to work in. You were telling us off air about the problems you're having with power. You said your workshop's solar powered, but you only have power when there's sun. There's no power a lot of the time where you are anyway. It sounds a nightmare.
Well, there obviously we are in a rainforest, so humidity is the name of the game over here. There's so much humidity that if you don't use a dehumidifier in your house, your clothes grow fungus and holes. So humidity here is crazy. But one of the things that I brought from the States because of that is huge dehumidifiers, and I have them running 24/7 in the shop. I have to. Otherwise, I couldn't. Not an instrument. You can build furniture with, wet wood, but not an instrument. It would just be make a neck, and then the next day it's gonna look like a pretzel, So, when I'm getting ready to work on a neck, I'll usually cut a rough blank, obviously way bigger than it should. Leave it in the. I have a room where I do the finishing. That is, humidity is always at 50%. Leave it in there for 2 weeks. And then when I bring it out, then it's moved. Okay, now let's work on it. Let's make it shape the neck, and then usually I try to shape the neck. And as I'm shaping it, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. It's not the final finish, but I'm already adding shellac and stuff. I'm starting to seal it so it doesn't move that much anymore. And I use reinforcement carbon fiber rods as well for stability on my necks. Again, something that I didn't start with at the beginning, but I'm adapting to here. And I think when I decided I'm going to do it all the time is because I built a neck for my brother. Luna! That's my little puppies are waking up. I built a neck for my brother that went from this environment to Florida, and he has the guitar in a room with AC all the time. And then he sends me a picture, and he's like, "Dude, look at this!" And it was a bow, and I'm like, "Oh wow!" So now I'm laminating when I can, when it makes sense, but I am using carbon fiber rods, and I have like a week and a half, 2 weeks sometimes process of drying before I even start carving necks. I'm also coming up with I'm calling them little cheats that I'm doing. Like the acoustic instrument that I'm building I'm breaking the rules big time. There's inside the box. There's a considerable spine that goes from the back of the guitar to the front, and and then attaches to the neck. Now it's floating, meaning it's not touching the top or the back, so that it can vibrate and have volume, but it's there for stability. And that I used a really hard wood in there, and so I'm doing what I can. But I am 100% confident that if you take my guitar to a different environment, there's a good chance it's going to need a setup. I think that's normal. I saw the guitar, went to New York, and it's in a studio in New York now. And my friend, the one that owns the guitar now, he calls me. He's like, "Hey, man, did you did you file the frets properly? Like, it's kind of cutting a little bit." And I'm like, "Dude, listen." And that time when the guitar left, we were at humidity 92%, 95%. I'm like, this guitar was born in the forest, man. I'm really, really sorry. But it's no big deal. It's just a little bit of fret sprout. And tell you what, get a tech to do it, and I'll give you credit on that. So he's showing me the receipt. It was like $50 or whatever. And because he still owes me money, making payments. He's a friend. And so like I give him credit on that, because yeah, I mean, I can't foresee everything that's going to happen, but again, it's a thing of pride. I'm trying to give you the best I can of me with my backing. I got you, dude. I'm doing this. I have to also in actions. I have to, if something like that happens, you have to trust me that I'll do right by you.
Yeah,
the level that I can.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, because obviously that's potentially an issue that you're going to have. It's not an issue I've really had before. I've shipped guitars everywhere, it feels like. But last week I shipped one, which is a guitar I made, I think, 6 years ago. And it's been through a few iterations, a few different paint jobs, and I've changed pickups on it and stuff. But it's been finalized for a couple of years. It's been in a case. Every now and then I get it out and play it. It sounds great. I've taken it to shows. I've had people want to buy it but couldn't afford it. And last show I went to, people playing on it. And what the best thing about it, taking it to a show, is seeing someone playing it who can play, because I can't play that well. And they're all shredding and stuff. And then so someone bought it, and so I sent it to America. And it's arrived there, and something's happened to the neck on the journey. And it's just totally fretting out. And I think I know what the issue is, but the guy that's already taken it to his local luthier, and they think something's happening with the frets popping out. Never had that before. But yeah, the cost of him sending it all the way here for me to fix it, send it all the way back. So I'm doing what you're saying, covering the cost of someone else to fix it. But it's depressing when those things that you try to control but you can't control are there.
Oh, of course, yeah. But obviously you can't win all the battles. You just got to win the war. And this is and the war. The idea of the war is your reputation as a luthier.
That's what it sounds like with you, the way you're talking about your relationship with your client and with the instrument that you've made is absolutely inspiring. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
In the case of I think Mark already left, but Scott, in the case of Texas, I'm sure they deal with humidity too. Texas has right?
It's incredibly dry. People that visit wind up, usually having a lot of nosebleeds because
the opposite, yeah.
Yeah.
So you would have when you send a guitar out, would it be out of whack because it all of a sudden absorbs all the water and then?
Probably. I don't. I have gone out of my way to avoid shipping guitars. I'm terrified to try to ship. I have once or twice, and I don't know how it turned out. Honestly,
I gotta tell you, I feel you. I can't say the name because this person has a sponsorship, and I don't want to do anything to hurt him. But my brother became really good friends with a musician that both him and I have looked up to for decades. For a really, really big band, and my brother kind of throws me under the bus a little bit. He says to me, he says, "Hey, I told X, I'm just calling him X for now, you're building him a guitar, and we're going in November to deliver. And I'm like, what? So think of somebody that, like, I don't know, you grew up listening to you have all his albums, and now you're building that person a guitar.
Amazing.
So I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah. So do something. Okay. So I got
monkey.
yeah. I got together with my wife. We started drawing some stuff, and we came up with a model, and we built 2 prototypes. One, in halfway into it, I'm like, I threw it in the garbage, and then the other one ended up becoming the first prototype, which I sold to a friend. And then we went to New York to deliver the guitar. But I went to deliver this guitar personally. I was like, I'm not shipping it. I'm gonna go take some tools with me, right?
Mhm.
Some tools with me. We're going to this guy's, estate, and we went to his house. We saw like hundreds of instruments. We went to his studio, see the Grammys, all that shit. I'm like, what? And I'm like, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe it. And we listened to music that he hasn't released yet, and gave him the guitar. But the whole time I'm like, my hands are here. He's laying the guitar like, okay. He's like, oh, is this? Let me see. So I hear you. I mean, but that has been the most important owner of a Cordovas guitars that I've ever had. So it had to be perfect. I mean, and I said the same thing to him too. I was like, hey, listen, whatever you need, you need me to come to New York. I don't know how, but I'll come to New York.
Well, I think you got the same attitude that my entire life. It doesn't matter if I'm writing software or building guitars or whatever. I'm horrified at the prospect of taking money from somebody to do something and them not being 100% happy with it.
Yeah.
And when going back to people being trepidatious about buying an instrument from little guys, if they understood that you call Fender when something's wrong, they don't care. But somebody calls me about my guitar, I mean, nothing is more important.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Taking care of an issue with a guitar that I made, it's not going to make me any money, but it's gonna allow me to sleep at night, because whatever it took, I did the best I could for you. I did whatever it took, even if it cost me a lot of money, because it's like, at the end of the day, if there's one thing I don't want anybody to say, is that I don't care. It's the opposite. I care too much. If
it was my mistake, I want to fix it.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix it. Like this can sound horrible, but one time for a client of mine, a friend of mine, I made 5 necks, and it's because I will make a neck, and he's like, dude, he would tell me, we're friends, but he's super picky player. He's the same guy that I'm telling you about the pickup. He's like, this neck is good, but I want you to see this, and then he would send me profiles, and I'm like, okay, don't worry, okay, don't worry, I'll make it. On the 5th neck, I said to him, hey, listen, tell you what, I'm gonna send you the back, the first neck, because you had that one for a month and you liked it, and you can keep both. Okay, these other necks sent back, and then I'll use them somewhere else. And you keep both, and you can swap back and forth whatever you want. But I really need to get working on other stuff, so give me a little break, and then we can revisit this neck thing. And then, but I got you. Okay, no, I'm not saying I'm not gonna make it right. And then a few months later, he's like, nah, dude, I got used to the last neck is fine. I got used to this.
It's when you want to beat him with the other 4 necks.
Yeah. But I ended up using, out of those necks, 2 of them ended up going in different instruments and found homes. So there's only one that I kept that is somewhere in there. Yeah. So, again, it's a thing of pride, and this friend of mine, I actually you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but I had another guitar that I built for me, and one day I said to this friend of mine, because he was my second client ever, of Bespoke Guitars in 2016. And so I said to him, this was this year. I said to him, hey, listen, I want you to know how much I appreciated the fact that you took a chance with me, and that I want to give you another guitar. And I gave him this guitar that I had already built. It's not that and he goes, like, you really? Yeah. Yeah. Because I want you to know how much value it meant, how much it meant to me that back then, when I had no history and almost no tools, and you gave me money out of your pocket and said, hey, make me a guitar. So this is my thank you. This is you harvest. And he's like blown away. And he's told his friends, dude, you gotta talk to my friend MenO. He's and I'm like, okay. I call that planting. I planted, with some love, and hopefully I'll get to harvest something too.
Yeah, I originally, when I put the podcast up, so when I plan them in advance, I try to sometimes give them a title. And I thought we were going to be talking about all the problems of building in the forest where you are with your workshop.
Oh, we can. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not worried about that. But what we've ended up on is this amazing conversation about how you sell guitars that you're really proud of because you've got that ownership of them, and the way you describe them as your child. Have you have that connection with the person you're selling to? It's been quite fascinating. It's not necessarily something we've gone that in depth with before, and it's really interesting to hear your approach. How do you think that would change though if you're building 20 a year?
I think if I were to up my output, I would have to probably have some sort of apprentice, because the thing that takes the most time is sanding, really sanding and milling, so if I could train somebody to, hey, this is the blanks I need for the stuff that I'm doing, and show them how to mill, that would be great. Because when I say milling, I mean, I'm talking about grab here's the tree, here's the chainsaw. Okay, let's cut the blanks. Let's put them to dry like that for for a year, and then we cut them to rough sizes, put them in the drying room. All that stuff takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of planning, and I'm not that great at planning, so that kind of robs me. But then the thing that robs me probably the most is sanding. I can spend sanding a week. Just sanding and sanding and sanding. So if I had somebody else, I could be like, hey, maybe I can build 2 or 3 at a time, or maybe 2.
Yeah.
3 is not much. I won't be able to put myself in them if I make. But okay, you sand this one, I sand this one, and maybe in a month I can deliver 2 guitars, which is possibly what I feel comfortable with, and that would be enough. I'm doing 1 a month right now, more or less. But I think I could do 2.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I was just wondering how you would still have that connection, or if you'd still be able to. But it's very clear you would easily be able to keep that.
I think so. Again, I wouldn't want to be building 50 or 60 because I couldn't. Then I'm just making cheeseburgers. I don't. Cheeseburgers are fine, but it's not what I want to do.
I remember the first guitar show I went to, which was it was a sort of a guitar show. It was a sort of private thing just at the end of COVID, where things were filmed and the videos were put up, so people could see who couldn't normally come. I was speaking to someone there who was, he'd been making guitars for a while, and now I would say his company's quite big in that he's constantly making guitars non-stop. So he's doing well. But when I first met him, his aim was to be, he said, a bit like the size of Crimson in his output of making guitars, to have people working for him to do sort of the things you're saying, the blanks and stuff, but him to still have that input in it. And I remember thinking that's not how I hadn't really thought far ahead about my business ambitions, but I don't think I want a company like that. I want to make my own on my own kind of job.
I think I sound sometimes not delusional, but maybe naive. And this might be because I'm speaking from a position of privilege. And that sounds weird. I live here, right, playing Minecraft in real life. But I don't have to worry about what I'm going to eat tomorrow, because I in that sense, not living in the States gives me the ability to not worry about my roof, not worry about my food. I'm going to give you guys a number right now that's going to blow your mind. Minimum salary here is $425 a month, and it's a dollarized country. Imagine that. So if I'm selling guitars for $1,000, $1,500, I'm doing good. I mean, I'm fine. And my mentality now is on my life, the thing that I put at the top is my peace and my happiness before I put anything else. Before I put, nice cars, the latest cell phone. No. If what I'm doing gives me peace and gives me happiness, then I'm all for it. If it gives me stress, if it makes me feel, maybe unfit, then I don't want it. Because I've seen in my life, I've seen both ends of the spectrum. I've met people with a lot of money, but I mean, like, talking about like walking into a garage and seeing those collector cars, the ones you're like, oh yeah, I've seen those in movies, yeah. And this particular person that I'm describing right now bought me a ticket to go to Brazil. I speak Portuguese too, so I went to Brazil, delivered some guitars for him, not mine guitars that he bought. We're there, we're chatting and all this stuff. Comes out with a bottle of wine, $600 wine. He tells me, hey, listen, I have this special, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And we're friends. He's my friend. I love him. But he tries to impress me with this. And which is, at that point in time, I think he was still trying to put the facade, the like, oh, I'm successful, I'm happy. A few drinks in, it starts to break. And he starts telling me how stressed out he is and how his life is not, he's not doing what he wanted to do because he wanted to be a musician. He wanted to perform, and he's CEO of a software company. We walk into the balcony. I don't know if this conversation is going dark, but I think it's important. I think at least it helps me explain my brain. When we walk into the balcony, he's a little drunk at this point. And he tells me straight up, he's like, I have no idea how many times I've walked into this balcony thinking today is the day I'm going to jump. And I look at him, what the? Because here I am seeing a guy that made it, a guy that has more money than I could ever spend in my life. And I'm thinking, he must be happy. He has to be. I mean, he's got those collector cars. I just brought him 2 Taylor guitars and 2 Fender guitars. And I'm like, but no. So I remember when I came back from that trip, my wife picked me up at the airport. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to pursue richness. I don't want to be rich. I want to be happy. I'd rather us have this, Yeah, sometimes we're stressed out because we have a bill and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. But I'd rather have a battle that I pick, a battle that I enjoy. And even when it gets dark, I still go like, no. You and I will make it through. Than have that, which is at the top, but alone.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my mentality with this whole guitar building thing. So I'm doing this because it makes me happy, and the moment it stops making me happy, I'm not going to do it. And I think, I could be wrong, I used to manage a lot of people. I think if I were to grow too much, if I was going to have 10, 15 employees, it will make me miserable because I'm like, okay, this guy didn't show up to work because he was drunk last night. This guy beat up on his wife and now he's in jail. This guy, because that's how it was. Like when I managed 2 companies, that's how it was. So I'm like, I don't want that again. Don't want it.
No.
Yeah.
As I say, life's a journey, isn't it? And the destination's a dead end. So
I didn't. Yeah.
So now we have discussed many of the reasons I never considered the possibility of turning it into a job.
Yeah.
Because you want to enjoy it. You're afraid that you won't.
Yeah.
It's always been an escape for me and a hobby, and I like to keep it that way. It's just, and I know
you never know what you leave behind, Scott.
Say what?
You never know what you leave behind. I mean, you might see it like this is gonna out me as a nerd, but I was listening to NPR maybe like 10 years ago, right? And they're talking about this lady. I can't remember her name right now. Hopefully next time we chat. Oh, next time I'm in the chat next week, I'll share it. And she was an artist from Cuba who her whole life just painted. She painted, and it was like her escape, her therapy. She painted. That's all she did. She ended up passing away. Never really being in any way, shape, or form recognized as an artist. And then she got found later, after she died. And now her paintings are worth like insane amounts of money. And now they realize, hey, you know what? This lady that painted her whole life, she did it for herself. It was at a level that is comparable to the masters. And you could sit here and say, oh yeah, but she never enjoyed it. How do you know?
Yeah.
Obviously, pure painting just made her happy.
Yeah.
You know, and I think all of us, in a way, want to transcend, right? A little bit. Like, want to leave the world a little better than what I found it at.
Yeah.
Like the people around me, the people I love. All of us want that a little bit, and we don't know if we're doing it. We might be. So, like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I make money for this to be the thing that makes you. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a business, and if it can be, great. And if it doesn't have, but it doesn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I very early on I realized it would be really difficult to make a living doing it. But again, the big thing is it's been a creative outlet that helped me get through a lot of things, and ultimately it's a hobby. And trying to do a custom build for somebody that I'm not excited about anything about this build or this person, and it's really hard to do that project,
Yeah.
So I kind of selfishly, I want to build what I want to build.
Yeah.
So the best times I've had with actual commissions is like the last two. Basically, the only thing they told me was their favorite color is this. I'm like, okay, I can work with that. As long as I got everything else, I can deal with that. That's the kind of client I can deal with. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm more than happy to keep it.
But you might be the Cuban lady version 2.0.
That would be my luck that I would be dead and then successful.
Nah, because if you're happy right now, you're already winning.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's right.
Well, and I love my day job. I still to this day love software. So I don't regret that I'm not making money on guitars. I'm making guitars for happiness.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the best kind of outlet when there's no pressure. Because when I was performing, when I was doing the band thing, I think one of the reasons why I stopped is because of that. Because I was living in the States, I had to pay bills, and I'm trying to make money playing my original songs, and it's hard. People want top 40 bands. So eventually, I just got burnt out. I'm like, hey, I'm putting so much effort to bring home a couple $100 in a week. What?
Yeah.
And just lost the love for it. It almost corrupted it. So today I still play guitar, obviously, and I sing because I like singing, but I do it for me because it makes me happy. I wrote a song for my wife like 3 weeks ago. I'm not going to perform that song anywhere, but it made me happy, and I love my wife, and I want to tell her I love her. Boom, done. My expectation is realistic, and it's for me. It's for now. Who knows tomorrow?
I feel that this last 10 minutes has been a great way to wind up a great podcast. We may not know what will happen when we die to our instruments and things like that, but the idea of having an effect on people, I can already see in the comments people have really enjoyed today's chat, MenO, and found a lot of what you said very inspirational. I feel like with this conversation and some we've had in previous chats, I now want to go away and write my sort of manifesto of how I'm going to be building guitars and dealing with clients to make sure I'm only doing the things that are going to drive me in the way that you're talking about.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've got a link to. Well, there's links for all of us in the description, but there's links to MenO's Instagram, website, and YouTube. But definitely on your YouTube, you've got some of your music and singing as well. So it's worth checking out because you've got a great voice. It's
Thank you,
brilliant.
man.
Excellent.
Well, thank you for being here. And as some of you will have seen before, MenO's always in the chat live. Well, not always. When you can be, you're in our live chat. So I'm sure.
I haven't been showing up because of the power outages, man. But today I was like, screw it. I set up my wife's car, like I told you, with an extension, and I'm here.
That was before we started. MenO's being powered by the battery in his wife's car today.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So look,
Excellent.
I feel like we've talked the last few weeks about maybe having some themed live stream. So obviously this one got you in, we're talking to you, but maybe we need one to talk more about with workshops and workshop spaces. And I think that would be the time to get you in and talk about how different your workshop space is to ours.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be fantastic. Definitely want to start getting people back on. And actually, while I'm saying that, let me just tell you what we've got coming up, because more or less booked through now until December. We've got next week, we've got Matt from Monty's Guitars coming on. So if you don't know Monty's, I first met them because they make waxes and things for fretboards, but they also make pickups, and Matt does lots of repair work. He's got a background as a musician and repair work. We've got Maynard from Madsen Amplification the week after, so that's going to be our first amp builder who's coming on, and he's a friend of Ty from Shop the Fox, so Ty's going to join in that day as well. The week after, we're going to focus on the Jurgs Cup and what's happening with that. But to help us sort of talk through how the Jurgs Cup works, we're also going to have Jamie on, who's Fat Patanga on Instagram and YouTube, so you'll know his builds. He does material tops sort of in the center bit of his guitars with bold colors. So I love his builds. He's going to come on and talk with us as well. Then the week after, we've got Aaron's friend that Aaron's been talking about, he's been working with recently, Stu from Arran RMF Guitar Works. And then the week after, Les from Godfrey Guitars. Lots of people have been asking for him. That'd be brilliant. Then we're going to have a session where we're talking a bit about what it's like doing a course at Crimson, because we've got Cade from Ravencroft and Ray Baggett, who have both done courses there recently. Then we've got Ben from Marstronics coming on, talking about internal components for guitars. Then Sean, who's been on before, and Lutherie, is coming back, and we're going to have an episode about what it's like teaching guitar building. So I think when we do that one, it's going to have Brad, who's in the chat, BB Guitars, does a bit of teaching, Mr. Glyn's pickups. Glyn used to be a guitar making teacher. Hopefully Aaron will be there as well, just talk about being a teacher.
General teaching, I can do that.
I did 25 years.
Transferable skills, I'm sure there's a few there.
Yeah, I've done 25 years working in education, and I feel like a lot of what we do on YouTube is education as well. Fantastic. And then we've got one more lined up. I haven't settled the date yet, which is going to be a group of people that have all done lots of 3D printing. So Ray from Tasmaniak is going to kind of lead on that, I think. But we're going to have Owen as well. Glyn's done some 3D printing. Mark's going to be there. Maybe Scott with the 3D printing you're doing. We'll loop you into that conversation. But I think that's going to be a real tech-heavy one, which will be interesting. Could be out of my league discussing that. And then I've got another guest who I'm waiting to confirm a date on, who is going to be quite exciting, but I won't mention until we've got the date. But that's like the rest of the year done.
Yeah,
wow,
that's pretty
you're
awesome.
busy.
Yeah, but I spent all morning trying to email people, set up streams, make thumbnails, and the hardest bit was I had to have a time zone converter next to me because everyone's time zones are changing. So from week to week, I'm not sure what the time's going to be here or there, or anyway. But from December or late November, we'll all be set for, I guess, 6 months. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. So, MenO, we'll definitely see you in the chat, but definitely, I think, let's do an early January get people back on that have been fun. It'd be great to see you then.
It was fun talking to you guys.
No, it's really good.
That's
really
been great.
What I'd like to say, though, if anyone's listened to this and they've also enjoyed it, let us know in the comments what you've enjoyed about it, leave a rating if you're listening on the audio podcast, because that's really quite new, and that's something I want to find a way to promote a bit more. So leaving comments and ratings is excellent. And then on that note, I just want to thank the people that are members. There's a list above, and that have been giving super thanks recently, because that's helping to cover all the costs of the streaming, etc. So we've got Daniel, who's been on the podcast before, DNIZY. I don't know how you pronounce that. Dinzy is his tag on YouTube. Recently became a member. We've got Gabriella Retti, FPS, Entropia Guitars, that's Owen, Electric Lady Guitars, Adair Guitars, BB Guitars, Simon Chapman, Mr. Glyn's Pickups. Thank you, Dave Dickens, and Ray from Tasmaniak. I mean, amazing. I'm very humbled when people are supportive, even just leaving comments that are supportive. It's just brilliant. It makes things a bit worthwhile.
Gratitude is powerful, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're very grateful for you. Thank you, MenO.
Oh,
So,
thank you. I'm very grateful to you guys.
Yeah.
well, we'll see you all next week at the same time as today.
All right.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Ron.
Bye.
Thanks.
The Guitar Builders Collective is a group of like-minded people from all around the world at different stages of their guitar building journey. You can join us over on our forum to seek advice or share tips on guitar building processes, materials and tools, or just to share your builds. On YouTube, we have a regular podcast of guitar building chat where you can join the live stream or watch back on past episodes. Our Instagram page shares posts of members' builds and links you direct to their accounts. And for those of you on Facebook, we've got a private group that you can join, share and chat along with. The Guitar Builders Collective is a welcome and open space for all. So No, we're still streaming. I wonder if I should contact the streaming service to say, is this a bug that affects everyone, or is it just me? But there we go.
Just
Well,
fun for
thank
us.
you everyone again. I'm going to end the stream.